Of course, Joyce was not the only writer who was interested in music. There's a long tradition, a kind of interface between the written word and music. And this interface, this relationship, became of particular importance in European culture towards the end of the 19th century. And in some ways, Joyce is kind of caught up with that, and he's responding to it. There's been a lot of work and research done on music as it features throughout the Joycean canon, in experiments like the chapter Sirens in Ulysses. Perhaps the whole of Finnegan's Wake, in some senses, is a kind of musical experiment, or an experiment to test the limits of the written word against the emotional power of music. I said this is something that Joyce shared with a range of other writers. In some senses, the entire kind of modernist literary movement is in a kind of torturous relationship with its musical counterpart. Of course, the late 19th century is kind of very much a Wagnerian culture. The power of Wagner and his vision dominates a lot of the critical and cultural endeavors of that time. And we find it kind of emerging in the work of the symbolist poets in France, but also in fiction, where you kind of less expect to find it really, in writers like Thomas Mann, Marcel Proust, E.M. Forster, Aldous Huxley. All these writers in their fiction are responding in some senses to the power, the challenge of music. And Joyce is very much caught up with that experiment, that tradition.